所以讲，某生囝嘛得教个话，问问好偌久，土嘛着淡。这两句话，我想大家互相鼓励一下。I'm just kidding. This talk is actually going to be in English. But what I did just say is a phrase in Taiwanese that my parents taught me, which means that nothing of value comes fast or easy. Drips of water can one day break a stone. It's a message I learned since I was a kid. But it wasn't until more than 20 years later, with one morning, one phone call, and one message that changed the course of my life, would I fully experience the power and the essence of that teaching. I wasn't expecting a call like that, and neither was I prepared for the challenge that came next. That morning, I picked up the phone. It was my sister on the other side of the line, across the world. Tony, Mom just attempted suicide. She overdosed on her medication and is in the hospital right now. We don't know if she's going to make it. No amount of challenges in my entire life could have prepared me for that moment. At the time, I had a stable career, stable income, stable relationship. Everything was great. I thought I was living an American dream. I was so comfortable, I didn't feel the need to challenge myself. But I invite you to realize that the moment we stop challenging ourselves is the moment when we stop growing. When we stop growing, it's when we start dying. What if that's what drove my mom to want to take her own life? This call eventually drove me to a deep depression. I couldn't understand why such a strong and powerful woman like my mom would want to end her own life. You see, she's always been my biggest supporter. She's always been there for me through every single challenges since I was a kid. For example, when I was 3 years old, I wanted to learn how to play the guitar because I saw this guy just rocking it out on TV. My parents knew that it was going to be a big challenge for me, but they also saw the sparkle in my eyes and my tiny little hands pointing at the TV. So they supported my passion and exploration. It was one of the first big challenges I took on. My hands were so small, I could barely even hold a guitar. Not only did it hurt to play, my fingers would bleed at times. I wanted to give up. But my parents reminded me that nothing of value comes fast or easy. Drips of water can one day break a stone. So instead of giving up, I took on a challenge to continue practicing. Then the next challenge came. In elementary school in Taiwan, we had to take these tests that supposedly determine who are the gifted and smart students. The result, I wasn't. I didn't make it into class. You see, at the time, I thought that meant that I was not smart enough, or I would never be good enough. My parents, of course, knew that wasn't the case. They encouraged me to take on the challenge of proving them wrong. See, what I didn't realize was that although I may not have been book smart, I was creative smart and music smart. So instead of believing that I was never going to be good enough, I took on a challenge of believing myself and participating in extracurricular challenges as much as I could, embracing the kind of smart that I was. And eventually, made a name for myself. I formed a band in elementary school, performed around my school, and not being good enough wasn't a challenge for me anymore. These same extracurricular challenges eventually even led me to winning first place in an international classical guitar competition and had the honor to perform at a national Taiwan music hall at a young age. Nothing of value comes fast or easy. Drips of water can one day break a stone. My parents are proud of my accomplishments, but at the time I also remember and realized that it was only because I took on the very first challenge would I have the opportunity to do these things. At the age of 15, I knew eventually I was going to pursue a creative career, so I was ready for the next big challenge. So I flew across the Pacific Ocean 10,000 miles away, leaving my family behind, and came to the United States. No parents, no friends, no English. Remember the beginning of my talk when I was talking in Taiwanese? Well, maybe you felt how I felt when I was in high school, right? Walking around just confused and pretending I knew what was going on and talking English very nice. You see, I see the light of it now, but at the time, there was a much bigger challenge that I did not foresee. I was bullied for being a fob fresh off the boat. I was often threatened to stay where I belong, or even cornered a few times because of the color of my skin. It was a big challenge for me to overcome at the age of 15. I often cried night over night. I didn't have my parents there with me. I didn't have my mom to hug me, nor my dad to make me laugh. Just that message. Nothing of value comes fast or easy. Drips of water can one day break a stone. It kept me going. So instead of taking a step back and stay where I belong, I took a step forward and take on the challenge of immersing myself with a diverse group of people and continue participating in extracurricular challenges as much as I could. Eventually, I formed my identity, found a community of people, and even meeting my best friend. These same extracurricular challenges that I took on, like participating in musicals and being in the clubs like Business Professional of America, eventually led me into my dream school, the University of Southern California, even a generous scholarship. Nothing of value comes fast or easy. Drips of water can one day break a stone. In college, there were a number of challenges that I took on without really thinking about what the outcomes or the payoffs would be. See, that's the thing about challenges, right? We often feel like there needs to be some sort of immediate payoff or return of investment right away. Otherwise, there's no point, right? That's no excuse to not take challenges on, because even the smallest challenges could have the biggest impact in our lives. They could even take you to adventures and journeys you can never imagine. For example, freshman year, I wanted to be in the world-famous Trojan marching band. But the only problem was the spot left available up front was for a trumpet player. I didn't play a trumpet. The audition was in less than 2 weeks. But instead of giving up my dream, my parents' teaching reminded me to take on that challenge of teaching myself how to play a brand new instrument. Of course, being the musical genius that I was, I took on the trumpet, and I was just absolutely amazing at it, right? Nope. I was so bad, I could barely make a sound for days. But I continued practice hours and hours and hours and hours. Nothing of value comes fast or easy, and drips of water can one day break a stone. Eventually, I was just good enough to make it into a band. What's even more amazing was, because I took on that challenge, I had the opportunity to live my dream of being on the Oscar stage, performing with Hugh Jackman and Beyoncé. Drips of water can one day break a stone. Even a smaller challenge could lead to a big impact. Now, since I was a kid, my parents always encouraged me to embrace the kind of smart that I am, which is creative smart and music smart. So during the college years, there was another challenge that I took on, in addition to the challenges that I was embracing. My best friend and I were making these silly videos, and there was a fairly new website called YouTube, and we're uploading them online. We were spending hours after hours after hours just trying to perfect these videos, right? And to be honest, most of my peers at the time thought I was just completely wasting my time. There I was at one of the best film schools and music schools in the world, but I'm making these amateur, low-skill, low-class, low-income videos. But instead of listening to what people thought of me, I took on a challenge of believing in myself. So I continued perfecting the form, continued to challenge myself to perfect this platform that was new. And eventually, that's when the magic happens. Soon after graduating from college, instead of climbing a traditional Hollywood ladder, I got a full-time job managing some of the top YouTubers at the time. Nothing of value comes fast or easy. Drips of water can one day break a stone. Yet another challenge that led me to unexpected adventures that I would never imagine. So all of these challenges and successes eventually led me to a stable career, stable income, stable relationship, and even a cute dog. I was so comfortable, I was just drifting through life. I wanted everything to stay exactly the way they were. And that's when that call came. The news about my mom shattered my world. I started to doubt myself and question everything. None of the accomplishments I had before mattered to me anymore. Soon after, things started to fall apart. I went into a deep depression. I was ashamed and even embarrassed to feel depressed. I didn't want people to know that nothing was okay. Even worse, I have vivid visions of how I would have just ended my own life and nothing would have mattered. I was suffocating. I tried so hard to hold on to something, but I felt like there was nothing for me to hold on to. One early winter morning, I woke up because I could barely sleep and took all the energy that I had and stepped out of my bed and walked to the shower. I was standing inside the shower and just staring at the blank wall, not knowing what comes next. I heard drips of water in my bathtub. My parents' teaching came to my mind, and this urge to challenge myself again rushed through my body, and I told myself I had to take another challenge now. So instead of reaching for the same old of hot water, I took on a small challenge of reaching for the cold water. And I stepped into an ice-cold shower. It felt like death. But the funny thing is, I felt more alive than I had in a long time. You see, it's not the cold shower itself that made me feel alive. It's the idea that I was challenging myself again that made me feel alive. I eventually started to build this muscle of being comfortable with the discomfort. This cold shower marked a brand new chapter of my life back to thriving. Soon after, I started adding up more challenges for myself, from small ones to big ones, from something as simple as waking up half an hour earlier every single morning, drink a glass of water, spend 5 minutes of gratitude, calling my family more, to bigger challenges like recording my exercises every single day, or to some of you, it might not be too big of a challenge, reading more books and running more. But because I took on those challenges, eventually, I read 46 books that year, and even run a 10K run. See, I had no idea I was capable of all these things, but only because I took on these challenges would I even experience the fullest potential that I have. Nothing of value comes fast or easy. Drips of water can one day break a stone. From this moment marks a brand new challenge I'm starting for myself, and I invite you to take on challenges every single day, or even create challenges for yourself, because even the smallest challenges could have the biggest impact. Dare to imagine, like that 3-year-old kid. From this moment, the new challenge I'm starting, every single day for 30 days, I'm going out there and compliment a random person. We all know the power of compliments. I'm going to record on Instagram, and I would love for you to join me. #Shriller Challenges. It's spelled thriller with an S. It's pronounced Shriller. So to keep each other accountable, I'm going to ask you, are you ready for a challenge? And I need you to shout out as loud as you can, challenge accepted. Are you ready for the challenge? Challenge accepted. Thank you.